don't know what's going to happen in today's game, but I can predict one thing about today's outcome. Good, bad, or in between. People will walk out of this game and make definitive declarations about the career of Shador Sanders. It might be positive, it might be negative, it might be he's mid, and whatever it is. People are not going to be able to resist the urge today to make a long-term prognosis or diagnosis of the career of Shador. They won't be able to help himself. He go out there, he throw for 300 yards. He's the greatest quarterback we've ever seen. He's going to be amazing. We got to bow down and kiss the ring. Shador's amazing. If he goes out there and looks terrible, he's never been an NFL quarterback. He's not an NFL quarterback, this, that, and the third. People will run away with their declaration on Shador. I have long made the argument that people should be open to the idea of Shador's journey maybe being a little bit longer than what most people anticipate. I think everybody wants an answer in the next couple of weeks about Shador, if he could play quarterback or not. I don't think we're going to truly have that answer for the next couple of years. Now, that doesn't mean that the Browns should sit around and wait for that answer. That doesn't mean that Shador fans shouldn't be happy if Shador plays well. And it doesn't mean that Shador isn't going to have lows that validate some of the people who just straight up hate him. But it does mean that we're really not going to know truly what Shador is for a while, in my opinion. Again, I bring this up. Some of the most favorable draft comps of him from the scouts that I trust that like Shador the most, right? Not even my own personal take, but the most favorable opinions of him that I could find, guys who really, really like Shador in the pre-draft process, compared him to Geno Smith, which at the time was a compliment. I understand Geno Smith has not played good football this season, but erase this season from your mind. Think about just Seattle Seahawks, Geno Smith. And I do think when I watch Shador, I see what they're talking about. You know, that ability to find, extra passing windows, that creativity. He's not a great athlete, but he's a good enough athlete to have some wiggle, even though he relies on his athleticism maybe a bit too much. But once he gets a handle on that, he could be solid at finding those windows and everything else. And he does have an accurate arm that's capable of delivering on occasion some pretty wild throws, some pretty wild tight window throws. And you can see that potential is certainly there whenever you've watched Shador, whether it be in college or in the preseason or in practice, right? He's delivered on some of those moments. The big issue for Shador has been he's not good enough at operating the game right now, play to play, to be able to make those moments matter enough, right? Like he takes too many sacks. He sometimes just does not find what he needs to find in time and structure. And that gets in the way of his playmaking abilities. And maybe when he figures that part out of his game and he can marry that with the playmaking part, he might have a pretty good quarterback there. But that's probably going to take a lot more time than people are willing to give it right now. Geno Smith didn't make a Pro Bowl until he was 32 years old. He entered the league at 23. It took almost 9 years for him to become a Pro Bowl level quarterback. It took over 1,000 passing attempts for him to get to that point and 34 starts. So up until his 1,007th pass attempt, his 35th start, people had thought that Geno Smith was a bum. After that 34th start, for a couple of years, he was a Pro Bowler. his journey took a long time. He had to be on 2 different teams, went to the Seahawks, went to the Jets, went to the Giants, had that year with the Chargers. His journey took a while, but he eventually got to where he was supposed to be. And he ended up having the good years that he did have. If that's how Shador's career plays out, Shador's career is a success. If Shador's career ends up being that, hey, for the first 5-6 years of his career, he is a serviceable backup, and then in year 7 or 8, he becomes a Pro Bowl starter, that's an excellent NFL career. That's not a failure. But when you bring up that, and then people call you a hater for not having the highest expectations in the world for Shador, well, then that has the side effect of setting very, very unrealistic expectations. Like if I think the dude's going to become a 2-time Pro Bowler in Geno Smith, and that is being deemed such a low ball estimation of his career that it's disrespectful, exactly what do you think he's going to become, and how fast do you think he's going to become that? See, that's how it happens. That has the side effect of overhyping a player. We got to be willing to accept that this is going to take some time. If you're actually like invested in Shador Sanders being a good quarterback and having a good NFL career, maybe not the greatest, but a good NFL career, or the NFL career that he's capable of, you got to be open to this taking some time. Can't overhype him everywhere he goes. It's not going to be good for him because it might just take some time. And that's okay. There's ways where it can take time and end up being a perfectly fine result. But let's be real here, right? Browns fans and Shador Sanders have been caught in the middle of a crossfire in an argument that has nothing to do with them. Or maybe it has a little to do with them, but they're really just collateral damage in a larger argument that people are invested in. Yeah, this is everything that we've been doing about Shador Sanders, everything that people have been arguing about with Shador Sanders. It's still about the draft slide. It's still a question about justifying whether Shador Sanders should have, quote unquote, fell in the draft as far as he did. Or did Shador Sanders fall in the draft? Was he just always this level of prospect? This is what this is about. It's not about the Browns. It's not about Browns fans. This is why the national media cares about this game. This is why Cam Newton's talking about it. This is why Josina Anderson is still doing cryptic, weird tweets about it. This is why people seem to be so dedicated to a specific narrative being true one way or the other with Shador. It's not because of the Browns. It's not because of Browns fans. It's not because of even like people's opinions of Shador himself. It's about the fucking argument about his draft slide. Was it a conspiracy or was it justifiable? People are looking for his play this season to answer that question. And I'm telling you right now, if you're looking for an answer to that question in 2025, you're going to be disappointed. You're going to be very disappointed. Regardless of whether you want a definitive yes or no, you're going to be disappointed. Because what we know from the history of rookie quarterback play is that oftentimes in the rookie year, you end the season inconclusive about whether that guy's good or not. It could be for rookies who end up being great. It could be for rookies who end up being terrible. You're not going to find out that much in somebody's rookie year. There's too much stuff working against somebody in their rookie year to be this definitive about. But it won't stop people. Because remember, this don't really got much to do with Shador as much as it has to do about finding an answer to why he fell in the draft. That's what this is about. That's what the arguments are about. That's what people are trying to prove. This is why people who have never cared about the Browns all of a sudden care about the Browns practice reps, because they want the Browns to put Shador in the best position possible to prove their argument right. That's why if Shador goes out there and has a bad game, there are going to be a million people you've never heard give a fuck about a Browns game start opening their mouths and talking about how terrible this guy is after one start because they want to win an argument online. I have been caught in the middle of this because I'm not interested in that conversation or interested in winning that argument or losing that argument. I don't care why Shador Sanders, quite frankly, fell in the draft. This happens to players all the time. Sometimes it's justified. Sometimes it's not. It's life. I don't really give a fuck. Not really a mystery that I need an answer to. Mystery I care about is, hey, what could Shador be? Because I think there are some things to say that he could be good. And there are some things to be concerned about that he might not be able to fix to a high enough level to be a quarterback in the NFL. We'll talk about this and more, but real quick, let me hit my sponsor up, Sleeper. Real quick, just want to let you guys know Sleeper has a new offer here. They're offering a free $20 entry, no deposit required. And also, if you're a first-time user, you also will receive a 100% match on up to $100 when you use the promo code WORSTTAKE. Again, $20 free, no deposit required. Plus, first-time users also receive a 100% deposit match up to $100. Join Sleeper. You know, I did something interesting earlier this week where I looked at all 13 of the rookies who played in their rookie year and started in their rookie year, had their debut. And it was interesting what we found, right? 12 of those 13 guys who played in their rookie year for the Cleveland Browns ended up having careers beyond that game. So 12 guys. 5 of those guys had quarterback ratings in those debuts that were much better than what their career quarterback rating ended up being over their career. Another 5 guys had quarterback ratings in their debut that would end up being much lower than what their career quarterback rating would end up being. And then 2 people ended up having quarterback ratings that were similar to what their quarterback ratings ended up being throughout their career. What is the point of me saying that? I'll explain it very clearly for you. We aren't going to know what Shador Sanders' career is going to look like after this game. He could put up amazing numbers and that be a peak to his career, and he never achieves those numbers consistently again. He could put up horrific numbers and actually end up being pretty good. Baker Mayfield's starting debut, he had a quarterback rating of 70.7. It's pretty bad. Ended up having a career quarterback rating of 93.1. Charlie Fry, he had a quarterback rating in his debut that was 136.7, which is pretty good. His career quarterback rating was half of that. It's easy to get carried away as if the only thing that matters is this game, especially when it's the nature of the argument that we're talking about here. Remember, people aren't trying to evaluate whether Shador Sanders is actually going to be a good quarterback in the future or not, or the answer for the Cleveland Browns, as much as they're trying to win an argument about where he fell in the draft. Once you wrap your head around that, you understand why the conversation around Shador on both ends of it has been so irrational, so void of normal, because people are trying to win an argument about the draft. Shit ain't got nothing to do with the actual football that he's playing. And that's why, if he looks bad, there will be people who give him endless excuses because they want to win that argument. That's why if he looks good, people will endlessly move the goalpost to tell you, no, it actually wasn't good. For Shador, the most important thing for him and the most important advice anybody can give him is just to survive today, right? Like if you are earnestly looking forward to this start for Shador because you want Shador to be a quarterback in the NFL for a long time, regardless of if you care whether he's going to be the quarterback for the Browns or not. In his first game, all you should want from him is to survive. Because winning your first start and playing in your first NFL game is very tough. 13 quarterbacks have tried in Cleveland Browns history. None of those quarterbacks ended up being successful. We're talking about two number one overall picks. We're talking about multiple first round picks, second, third, fourth. A lot of guys have come in here. I think one of these dudes won the Heisman Trophy. What, Spurgeon Wynn? Did he win the Heisman Trophy? It don't feel right, but they was giving the Heisman Trophy to anybody in the 90s. So somebody who was really watching football then, you tell me if Spurgeon Wynn got any kind of accolade in the 90s, because I thought maybe he got the Jerry Rice Award or something like that. Anyways, it's not easy to do. And it's not cope if you're just happy that Shador got out of this game without embarrassing himself. Because quarterbacks who have been drafted much earlier than Shador have embarrassed themselves in their first start. Hell, the Browns have drafted two guys at pick 22, Brandon Weeden and Johnny Manziel, Brandon Weeden went 12 of 35, 34% completion percentage for 118 yards and 4 interceptions with a 5.1 quarterback rating. Johnny Manziel, 10 of 18, 55 yards, 0.6 completion percentage, 80 yards, 3 sacks, 2 interceptions with a 27.3 rating. You can embarrass yourself in your first start. And I hope that's not the case for Shador. I hope he just gets out of this with his head above water. That would be a win. He might throw an interception. He might not win the game. He might not throw for 300 yards. But if he gets out of it with his head above water and for the most part looks like he belongs, that's a win. Unfortunately, that kind of result is going to lead to the most ridiculous bullshit online, where people are going to either praise it like it was an undeniably great game or act as if that game should disqualify him from the NFL, find some kind of stat to pick at, and then do all of that. Look, the discourse is going to be annoying about whatever happens in this game, unless it's undeniably bad or undeniably good. More than likely, Cleveland Browns history tells you it's not going to be in one of those two categories. It's probably going to be somewhere in between. And if it's going to be somewhere in between, it's going to leave a lot to interpretation. And when the nature of the conversation of Shador Sanders is about winning an argument that dates back to the draft, the interpretations are going to be very volatile. So if you're asking me, what do I want from Shador? What do I expect from Shador? Simply survive. It's the same exact thing I wanted out of Dylan Gabriel in his first start. That's what my bar is for a rookie in their first start. Just simply survive. Y'all have a great day. See me at the live stream. Peace.